time now for the day's business news, and European lawmakers have voted for a green car revolution, backing a proposed law to ban the sale of new fossil fuel powered cars by 2035. Yuka Royer is here from our business desk to take us through it.
Well, hi, Sharon. Well, Sharon, it's really a landmark move aimed at speeding up Europe's shift to electric cars and meet its target of cutting 100% of CO2 emissions from new vehicles by 2035. The proposed ban still needs to be approved by all 27 member states of the European Union, and there are still challenges, including installing more charging stations as well as convincing consumers. Meanwhile, the European Parliament rejected two other groundbreaking proposals to reform the bloc's emissions trading system: a vote on a plan to introduce a carbon tax on imports of commodities and electricity, and another on a fund that would use revenues from emissions trading to support lower-income member states, have been delayed. Green and socialist lawmakers refused the proposals, arguing that they'd been watered down too much by conservative groups. Here in France, about 1/4 of scheduled flights this morning have been cancelled at Paris' Charles de Gaulle airport because of a workers' strike. France's Civil Aviation Authority had asked airline companies to reduce their flights between 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Thursday, following the decision by the main CGT trade union to go ahead with the walkout to demand better pay and working conditions. Among their demands is a €300 salary hike for everyone. In a slump to French cinema, Disney has decided to take its big-budget animation film Strange World directly to its Disney Plus streaming service in the country, while it will debut in theatres elsewhere. The entertainment giant is doing this in protest at France's strict rules aimed at protecting the cinema industry. Catherine Viet has more.
Strange World won't be coming to a theatre near you in France. Disney's hotly anticipated animated flick was set to hit French cinemas on November 23rd, but the entertainment company has pulled the release over a feud with the government about its windowing law. The regulation determines the length of time before a theatrically released movie can be made available to stream.
The new cumbersome media chronology is anti-consumer, ignoring how behaviour has evolved over the last several years. Will continue to make decisions on a film-by-film basis and according to each market's unique conditions.
Disney's decision has angered the National Federation of French Cinemas, which has called it a losing choice for everyone that would seriously undermine the economy of cinemas and the sector as a whole. As movie theaters struggle to get back to pre-COVID levels of attendance, concerns are growing that if Disney's move is followed by other studios, it could lead to a box office loss of 20 million admissions annually in France. The industry standard for windowing rules is 45 days between theatrical releases and streaming video on demand. But in France, that window is much longer, 17 months, and that's an improvement over its previous rule of 36 months. The law helps to protect the country's film industry from Hollywood blockbusters' overwhelming streaming offerings and free TV airings, while also helping to drive admissions to movie theaters. Only streaming giant Netflix has agreed to the French deal, leaving the fate of other studio films up in the air.
Let's take a look at the markets now then. European shares sank at the open as investors keep a close eye on the European Central Bank's meeting later today. No rate hike is expected until July, but policymakers may give some indications of how aggressively the bank will move on normalising interest rates and ending its emergency bond buying programme. In Asia, Chinese stocks dropped despite upbeat trade data that came out earlier in the day, which showed China's exports surged almost 17% on year in May after some COVID measures were eased. Tokyo and Seoul, as you can see, finishing the day on the flat line. Twitter is set to offer Elon Musk access to its raw data on hundreds of millions of daily tweets, according to US media. The news comes days after he threatens to back out of a takeover deal, accusing the social media firm of failing to provide data on fake accounts. Twitter sells its internal data to some companies, but is expected to give it to Musk for free. The company will likely hold a shareholder vote on the $44 billion sale of the company to the Tesla boss by August. That's it for business.
Every day seems to bring a new twist to that Twitter tale. Thank you, Yuka. That's Yuka Royer from our business desk.